I worked one night and I made almost, if I work tonight, which I work again tonight, I'll make the same amount of money, and that'll be $100. And I recently went nearly a whole year because of foraging, because of utilizing the berries and the nearby trees and fishing and such. You can go a whole year on $100. And that's one of the things that I would like to prove that you can do, is return to simplicity. And that's what I want to do with this documentary and with these images to follow, is the fact that you can do anything you put your mind to. And not everybody wants to live without very much money. Some people want to pursue money. I'm not one of those people. But you can go places with it, with the money. And a ticket to Ecuador only costed me $200 if you book it in advance. And so, I work 4 times and I'm already back to Ecuador. And I'm doing a good thing because I'm helping people. People needed help, I guess, to take money. And it's simple, and I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not hurting the earth, and so I guess it's not always bad to make money. I guess I just really want to make it in a way and do things with my life that benefit the earth more than it benefits business. But I want to transmute it. I want to go places with this. And so I want to do things. I want to study medicine and heal myself, find home, wherever that may be. I don't feel like I reached the depth of meaning that I really wanted to reach in the last video and my explanations of my purpose. And I think that these old poems I found, I ripped them out of one of the books, will do a better job. I'll let the silence and the ether and the words that I'm about to read explain further. In changing the self and changing the world, I truly believe we only travel further and further from the realist nature. Implying that there is anything to change implies deformity. To imply deformity is to imply imperfect alignment, and that is what we call fear. I think that the real change is to shed the layers of the self that was handed down to us from the collective dream of the sphere. These ideas that were told to us is right, and in us edited out exactly who we are. Wild, untamed animals, living simply as the rest, like the bees visiting the wildflower for the nectar, resting on the petal of a delicate flower, and the wild mustang, eating what is provided from the plain, happily simply existing. The bird resting in the branches, sometimes sweeping on the lightness of the wind to taste the dew from the grass. We are the only animal that carries such heavy burdens, and the only leper who burdens the self with endless affliction and duty. What if it is the rearrangement of natural flow that is rooted in the fear of something going as planned, not going as planned by the self, is exactly giving us what is needed to teach us about our fear? By us fearing as not going as planned, what if it is the echo from the eye of singularity for it to be not going as planned? What if the best of what nature can do doesn't need our help? What if our architectural design for a better way is absolute fear that the creation is not already not the best it can be? What if fear is the enemy? What if the hardest thing in our life we can ever and will ever do is let go? What if the effortless effort of letting go is returning to the way? What is the way? The purpose of life is to not work and change the world. There is nothing to accomplish, nothing to change, nothing that needs to be done. The purpose is not even to change ourselves. That's what's wrong with the world. We seek to change everything and change each other. I'm trying to return to childhood, the wild, domesticating the world, taming the grass, the land, the animals, changing the forms, is everything that is wrong with our minds. I think the anchor of the divine meditation is to allow what has already been created to unfold and take form. We could save ourselves from our own changes if we let go of all of our control. Everything that is not the reality would shed, and the burden would not be existent. Life would flourish, not die. Everything would already be done. What an effortless quest. What a feather-light object to tarry. And here is another little song, psalm, whatever you want to call it, about not needing to know everything before you begin. Return to the feet, feet to the earth, earth to the belly, belly to the mind to the heart to the hands to the will to the perceiver. Who is that? How can we fear the wind, the tree, the seed, the water? How can we see the truth in what bothers? How can we find when we do what matters? What matters we fear what matters. Listen, adjust to the patterns. The winds will blow, the stories will scatter, and the truth, steadfast stone. The mountain, it moves when it's time. The time, when is that? Now you will find. The directions, the direction, seventh is within. Define me, tell me how I sinned. You say, you tell, of stories of mirrors that meld into liquid from you which spills. This water, these reflections are not mine to instill. When will the day will come when it's ready. The winds will whisper ahead of time the answer to the query, the answer and question that you already knew. So when what was in the way of knowing the way. Knowledge, I question, if it is the destroyer of lost warriors who did not know the way, but found it because they did not know. How can we know everything we fear when everything we fear we do not know? How can we be like a honeybee when we are too busy? How can we sail the sea of the unknown when we are not free to row or roam freely? And so to know our enemy, we must turn our backs against the wall, against the stone as our foundation. Our enemies will fall. But only if we face them, will we understand its song. By facing, we do not see the right way to go, but what it will is reveal what we are not. What we are is what you will see, a keyless key that unlocks nothing. You cannot contain a spiritual sea. Free and alive, it was never contained. A leaf that falls from the tree will see its roots and live forever. Said I weigh 175.1. Now let's try with all my clothes and all my belongings. It said 211.8. Still not ideal.